I'm going to talk to you for a couple of minutes about my books in the Ben Schroeder series. Ben is a young barrister who starts practice in London in the early 1960s, and he's based partly on a pupil or a student barrister that I had when I was practicing myself just a few years later. What happened to Ben was that he was a young man from the East End of London, very bright. He comes from a family of merchants. They're not badly off for money. He's got a good degree, but he didn't really go to the right school or the right university. And in addition to that, he is Jewish. Now you may say, well, so what? But in 1963, in the profession, that was still a big factor. It was also a big factor if you were a woman. When I started out, there were very few women with successful practices. And when the first two women High Court judges were appointed, it was front page news in the Times. Well, I was living in the United States in the 1980s, and I wanted to write a book that would tell people about the English bar. Americans generally seem to have a very high opinion of the English bar. In fact, they have something like rose-tinted spectacles, to be honest, looking at it. But they really don't criticize it very much. And I wanted to give them a book which showed them the other side. So I wrote a book about what would cause a barrister, or more than one barrister, perhaps to step outside the strict ethical rules of this rather clubby profession. And I did that by having a barrister fall in love with his client in a divorce case, which is a no-no even today, but then a very serious no-no, which might have brought down his entire chambers. And from there, we get to a story of blackmail and intrigue that goes on for a long time. I called it A Higher Duty. And it started a series. No Exit Press saw Ben Schroeder, who wasn't really a central character of this book particularly, but they saw him as a protagonist for a series. And we've now just published the 7th book in the series, which is called Verbal. One of the nice things about this series is that it hasn't always been a question of Ben being the hero and winning every case that he has, but dealing with subjects that I wanted to write about. My publishers have been very good to me about that. Just write about what interests you. So I've written about capital punishment, terrorism, and in Verbal, the corruption that happened with the major CID squads, such as the Sweeney and the drug squad in the late 1970s, 1980s. Ben is going well. He's now a senior barrister and head of his own chambers. And I hope you'll give one or more of these books a try.